Hey, welcome back. So if you've noticed, I've jumped to the app delegate because I wanted to reiterate the fact that our application is sitting within a navigation controller. This means that we can push from one view controller to another. So what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to create an emoji detail view controller. That detail view controller is going to display an image and a collection view of social networks that we will be able to share our emoji out to. So we'll call this emoji detail view controller, press create, and of course change this to UI kit. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. What I want you to do is I want you to press Option on your Mac keyboard, and I want you to select the emoji view controller. That's going to pop the two files side by side. Now, the goal is to create a delegate for the collection view that will allow an image to be passed from this file through to this file so it can display the image. So the first thing we need to do is we need to write the delegate method so we can pass an image through. You can see that the collection view delegate is already set. So why don't we add another extension for the UI collection view delegate that handles touch. Great. We're going to implement one method here. It's called didSelectItem@indexPath. Now what we want to do is we want to create an instance of the emoji detail view controller, and we want to pass an image through a property. Then we want to tell the navigation controller that this view controller is sitting in, remember it's its root, to push to the emoji detail view controller. Great. So now we just need to set this up. Let's go ahead and create a property called image. Now what we want to do is we want to set the image property to be the emoji at that index path row. We have an issue here, so let's go ahead and see what that is. And it says it needs a constructor. Let's make this optional because we're not sure if an emoji will exist. Now it looks like we have the mechanics set up. Let's try and command build to see if our program runs. And it does. What we want to do now is create the UI for the emoji detail view controller. So we could go ahead and safely close the emoji view controller file. Let's override view.didLoad. And write the basic preparation methods we need. In the prepare view method, we're just going to change the background color of the view to white. Now for the image view, we could declare this as a property and simply pass the image from the other view controller through to this one from image property to image property. But we're not going to do that for now. What we're going to do is declare an image view that is only used within this view controller. Usually you would declare this as private, but we're not going to do that for the sake of this basics tutorial. And we are going to go ahead and assign the image that is our property through to this image view's image property. The thing is that the image that we have as a property is optional. So we want to protect our image view and make sure that something is going to load in it. And all we're going to do is check to see that the image actually has a value before we assign the property. So it looks like our image view is on its way to being prepared. We just need to add it to the view subview layer. And we want to set the image view's content mode, so we know that the image will come out all nice and pretty. Great. So the only thing we're missing here is a frame. The image view needs to know where it's going to be laid out on the screen. Rather, its parent's super view needs to know where it's going to lay out on the screen. So let's go ahead and write some layout code. Now, for now, why don't we just make it at the 0, 0 origin, and we'll give it a width as wide as the screen. And we'll say that the height is equal to its width. Okay, this looks good for now. Let's go ahead and build and run. Now, when we select on a panda, it will show up on the screen, but it looks like we have a bug. So let's go back to our code and see what we left out. Ah, of course. We wrote the function, but we never used it. So let's go ahead and use it in view will layout subviews. And let's build and run again. Awesome. Looks like our image is displaying fine, but we have an issue here. The image seems to be a little bit behind the navigation bar. Why don't we go ahead and click open the View Debugger, see what's going on there. In the view, we see that the image is at the 0, 0 origin of this view, but the navigation bar is there too. So we actually need to push the Y of this image down the height of the navigation bar. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to make a variable called y_offset, and that is going to equal the navigation controller's navigation bar height. A little lengthy, right? That's why I made it a separate variable. Now we'll pass the y_offset into the CGRect. And when we go ahead and build and run, oh, that's an optional. We need to unwrap it. When we go ahead and build and run, we should see that the image is much more evenly spaced from the top. Let's try a couple more images. Looking good to me. In the next video, we're going to add a collection view underneath this of social networks that we'll be able to share this image or any of these images out to. See you then.